What's up, folks? Justin Phillip here, and today we're going to talk a little bit about vlog. Now, I've been seeing a lot of stuff online where people are having trouble. They're a little confused about how to expose for vlog, a little confused about the dynamic range and why there's getting all this noise or everything's blown out. And there's just been, I feel, a lot of confusion in the Facebook world on these Facebook pages of vlog. Now, I will say this, and I did leave this on one comment, but I'll say this for everyone else who didn't see that comment. In my experience and in my opinion, vlog should never be used in a run and gun situation. Okay, I wouldn't recommend it. Because here's an example. Okay, you're out doing run and gun. Now, when I say run and gun, I'm talking about, for those that don't know, I'm talking about, reality style, documentary style shooting. Okay, and even more, when I think of run and gun, in my own personal run and gun situations, I'm a one-man band, meaning I don't even have one other person to hold a 5-in-1 reflector, okay? It's just me and my camera and I'm gone. The best thing in my own experience of a one-man band run and gun situation, the best thing I have for controlling light is a variable ND, okay? That's it. Okay, so now you're in that world, right? If you've ever done those shooting situations and you're out there, and you got your talent, you're doing like a talking head interview kind of thing, and there's, you're exposing for talent, there's no way to get proper diffusion or flag light off, and in the background you got bright light, it's the middle of the day. What's gonna happen? You're gonna come home, you're gonna put that footage in your computer, and you're gonna say, oh, my talent looks great, but the background is blown out, sometimes completely blown out. We've all been victim to that, okay? That's a direct result of not being able to control your lighting situation. Now, let's say you shot that in natural picture profile or the Cine V picture profile, which are my two go-tos when doing a run and gun situation. But let's say you weren't shooting in that run and gun situation. Let's say in this example, you were shooting in vlog because you thought, oh, I'm going to get more dynamic range. This is the best cinematic look. No, now it's going to look like even more shit because not only is it blown out, but it's destroyed. It's pretty much destroyed. Okay, and the reason behind that is because the vlog is a cinema picture profile. And in my experience, any cinema camera with those log profiles, they're intended for controlled cinema environments, meaning, narrative work, something you can control. So I say vlog for my music video shoots, web series shoots, commercial Instagram, I've shot some Instagram style commercials, and short films. That stuff, that's what I save the vlog for. Okay, everything else, corporate events, any kind of run and gun interview stuff, live events, conference gigs, that's all natural or Cine V. I save it for that, man. I don't even try to, and here's the thing too, man. You get hired to do these live events, the majority of those people don't even know what color grading is. They don't have time for it. They're not concerned with it. Just give them something right out of the package that looks good, sounds good, they're happy, you did your job, you pressed record, you got good audio, you're good to go, man. Don't kill yourself on these live event shoots, you know what I mean? Don't kill yourself with, especially like weddings. Why would you shoot a wedding in vlog? That's crazy to me. That's crazy. It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense. Don't hurt yourself, don't kill yourself. However, if you are going to shoot in vlog and you say, let's say, okay, Justin, I'm going to do this short film in vlog, now what? Well, now I would recommend using a monitor that you can either put a LUT into and really see, okay, this is the picture, this is the color I'm going for in post, and the LUT that I think I'm going to use in post, I'm going to load it into my monitor and I can expose for that, and now I know what I'm doing. And also I'm going to use the waveform. Those two things, the waveform, and now you have your LUT, that's kind of how they do it in a professional cinematography Hollywood workflow, okay? You're monitoring what you're going to be color grading in. That's the correct way of doing it. But even if you don't know for sure what your LUT's going to be, the Atomos monitors have a great option. Let's say you don't have an idea of the LUT you're going to use in post. But they do have the Rec 709, which is the video-like look, so boom, there you go. Rec 709, you're monitoring it now. Now you're monitoring vlog in Rec 709. Well, there you go. And on top of that, you have your waveform monitor. Boom, you're good to go. Don't fall victim to relying on the histo. The histogram is good, but terrible way to monitor anything log. I used to try to shoot on the Blackmagic using their little histogram. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. Don't do that. Don't kill yourself. Don't kill yourself. Monitor your stuff correctly, light it correctly, and expose it correctly. Okay, so now I said all that, and if you're good with that, you're tired of hearing me talk, cool, you guys can leave. However, if you want to see a little example of my workflow, I'm going to do an example. I'm going to do a little faux lighting situation here in the home studio office. I'm going to show you how I would light it with kind of half able to control my light and half not. And I say that because I'm going to be using the light that's coming through a big sliding glass door. I'm going to be using that outdoor light as a fill light because it's kind of shady, the light that comes in, because we have a big awning on our porch here. And then I'll show you like how I expose for that, where half of it's controlled and half of it isn't. I'm going to shoot it in Vlog. I'm going to show you how I expose with Vlog using an Atomos. I always use the Ninja Inferno. And let me say this too. My shooting style changed drastically once I started monitoring with my Ninja Inferno. I'm not sponsored by Atomos. I'm not being paid to say that. I'm just letting you guys know it changed the way I shot. It changed the way my footage looked. It changed everything. You have to, you know, just these little things, little tools along the way that are going to help you get better and better. And it is nice. I know that GH5 included their little Waveform Monitor in their package. That's cool, but it's like this, it's this small, it's so tiny. For me, that doesn't help. I mean, maybe quick on the fly, it is nice. It has the thick middle line there, and that's good to expose, but no, man, just get yourself a good monitor. And I will say this, Atomos is good for my level of shooter that I am, but if you're looking to go next level and you don't want to record in ProRes, which I am going to say, if you're shooting in Vlog and you don't have an Atomos to get ProRes, I would almost question, why are you even shooting in Vlog? Because, and that's just my own, I know a lot of people are gonna, that's fine. Everyone, look man, we're all entitled to our own opinions. That's what makes the world go round, baby. You can get mad at me, let's have a conversation. Let's debate about it, right? Let's talk about it, right? That's what it's all about. That's what the world is all about. In my experience, and the things that I aspire to be, I wouldn't shoot in Vlog if I wasn't able to get ProRes on an Atomos. I just wouldn't do it because, yeah, it's one thing to have Vlog, that's cool, and maybe you have a good enough SD card that's going to get you the all-eye 400 megabit per second thing. That's cool, but imagine now if you could get it in ProRes. Now you're going to get double the all eyes out the window. Screw 400 megabits per second. With an Atomos, you're going to get close to 800 megabits per second if you care about that stuff. You're still getting your 10-bit, you're still getting 422, but now you're getting ProRes. Now you're only one step away from the next level up on a cinema camera, which is RAW. It goes ProRes, then RAW. So if you really want to get the most out of your GH5, and that's why you're shooting a Vlog, I would imagine, get yourself an Atomos and go Vlog to ProRes. Boom, now you're really next level. If you're really going for the best, if you really want to get the most that you can get out of your camera. And look, man, they got that Ninja 5. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. So there's that, I will say that. Okay, but I used to work as a full-time stand-in in the film industry, okay? I'm not saying that to brag. I'm not proud of that position. That was probably the worst job I ever had. But one good thing that came out of being a stand-in and I've worked on lots of big Hollywood movies and TV shows. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying one thing that I learned out of that was I was right there on these big Hollywood sets and I got to see how these DPs set up, how they light for their situations, just how they work. I did it for 7 years. I wanted to blow my brains out, but I will say small HD is the industry standard in Hollywood. Every freaking camera had a small HD on it on so many big Hollywood shoots. They all have it, man. They all have it. You always see every shoot I would go on, it's right there. It's on the Airy. There it is, small HD. The focus pullers have small HDs. They all have small HDs. They're everywhere. So that is the industry standard. However, those guys don't need to record in ProRes. Their cameras do that natively. With guys like us with GH5s, ProRes is the best thing you can get. And that's where I stand right now. I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude, I got my GH5 with Vlog and a Ninja Inferno. The only reason I would need to get that new Blackmagic is just so I can deliver in RAW, right? That's all that it's missing. So that's just food for thought too, if you don't have yourself a Ninja or any kind of Atomos ProRes recorder. Think about that. Because I do know, I would hope the reason why you're shooting a vlog is because you're trying to get the most, right? And they do say, yeah, you can get 11.5 stops of dynamic range when shooting in vlog versus what, the usual 10, I guess. You know, it's oranges and apples, but for someone like me, I am interested in getting the best, you know, quote unquote the best. And, but either way, we're all learning here, we're all sharing and stuff. But yeah, maybe do that if you really want to check out how things are really done. Get yourself a little stand-in gig on, you know, especially if you live in LA. It's super easy, man. It's super easy. Walk down to Central Casting. You do have to be SAG though. So if you're for legit sets, you know, you do have to be SAG. You go down there, you sign up at Central Casting. Boom, man. Just get a few stand-in gigs. You'll see how it really goes down, and you'll understand a lot more about when I say cinematic lighting setups, right? Okay, so if you're still around, let's get into this style of I'm gonna do a fake setup. Unfortunately, I sold my G85 and my GH4 yesterday, so now I have only one camera. So I'm probably gonna be capturing a lot of this footage directly into the GH5, maybe using my GoPro 5. We'll see how this turns out. I know that I'm recording in vlog and I'm gonna be at ISO 400. I took a reading of the outdoor light here, and I know that that's an f4, okay? Therefore, my key light, I want it to be 2 stops above, so now my key light is an f8, and my backlight here is gonna be an f4 as well. Now see, if you're recording only on the GH5, you would probably need to pump this up a tad because it's a tad underexposed. But now see, you would think like, oh, I gotta go way up here, but that's crazy. That is crazy. That is way too high. You'll see how much high it is. You got zebras everywhere, and you're really riding the line there. Ideally, I would put it about right there. Now that's pretty nice. On the GH5, it's looking good too, and right there, it's looking good as well. And your aperture is showing what? That's a 5.6. So let's try that. Let's record a little bit of that. I'm gonna record in ProRes a little bit right there. The ProRes image here. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this and drop this down in here like so. Okay, and now I want to open up the scopes. See, here's the scopes, we're doing good. I did not white balance correctly, so we can go over here and we can go to basic correction, and going off of my vector scope here, I mean the white balance isn't bad, but I will admit that's something that I always freaking forget to do. So we have to drop this over. We just want to make sure the white balance, I just like to get all my colors kind of right there. Now that's a little better. You see I just changed it a tad. And if we want to see the difference in that, I always like to check the difference, make sure I didn't mess it up. So I can turn it off. See, it's just a very slight difference in color. Okay, but I'm happy with that now. Okay, so I corrected that a little bit. I can live with that. Here you'll see, pretty decent. It actually was at a 10. So that's pretty good. My shadows are at a 10, and my highest highlight was, what's that, like a 65? That's pretty decent. Okay, so now what you have to do is first we go in here and we browse the basic correction LUT. Well, it's Premiere Pro, and we did 10-bit vlog, so let's use that. So there's my pre-cube LUT. Okay, now you have to come down here to creative, and you're gonna browse this. Now here's where it gets nice. I can do the linear, the log C, or the soft. I'm gonna do linear because I kind of like the way that one looks. And there we go, there it is. And there's my color corrections with the GH Alex LUT. Here you can see I'm still good, just a little over the 80 here. And you'll see it brought the shadows down. It brought everything down on its own. I'm happy with where the highlights are. I'm happy where the shadows are. Now anything else, you'd never ever, if you're using the GH Alex LUT, don't ever use the curves. Don't mess with the curves. It's going to destroy it. You only want to mess with the shadows and the highlights. but I'm pretty happy with where this is living right now. My shadows look good, my highlights look good, and now as you'll see here, my image looks great. You know, you can check it out. I mean, look at her hair blowing here. This looks great. I'm actually really happy with the way this turned out. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, look at that GH Alex Lut. It is so gorgeous. Plus, though, this was a controlled environment, you know. So there you guys go. There's my little setup and how I kind of expose and use vlog. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about how that GH Alex Lut turned out. I love the GH Alex Lut. I always use it for vlog, and that's how I grade for vlog. That's how I expose for vlog. That's how I light for vlog. Let me know what you think. I'm pretty happy with the results of it, and that's how it looks on the shoots I go and work on too. So, you know, just keep that in mind. If you're going to shoot in vlog, keep it to your controlled environment situations. Run and gun, I rock Cine V, which is pretty good right out the box. Clients seem to be really happy with that don't know too much about color grading. Or you can always just do the natural route. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, I'm on JP on Film at Instagram or justinphillip.net.